and it was happy, and there was no Zoom update. So I was like, wait a minute, is it just a matter of it didn't want to work for us last week? And good morning, Darlene. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Just exhausted from
Aren't
driving.
we all?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I was at just a really, really tight schedule because we knew we needed to get back to Canada, and Texas to Maine is quite a distance.
Hmm.
Plus, I had meetings. I had meetings in New Jersey, and then um, I met with Roxy in Boston yesterday to plan out our June events, right? So can't see who else. Is there anybody else I need to say good morning to? Okay. So yeah, David. Yeah, I know. I have a lot of people come ask me about advice about YouTube, and it's just realistically, I'm like, unless this is why we're going to be talking about our 8 week thing. I'll send you a message
Yeah,
after the
yeah, yeah.
fact.
We'll talk offline.
We've been running webinars on our Facebook channels all week, just or our pre-recorded webinar, just to review what we're actually doing with it, and it's really just starting with YouTube first and repurposing your one video a week to YouTube and repurposing it, but during the 8 week course, we're going to actually um, build out 30 videos.
Hmm.
So the end of 2 months, you'll have 30 videos ready to go in a drip campaign that should give you a runway to continue to do it yourself or with continued assistance. But I'm going to do I might do the comic book. I might do my 30 videos with the comic book or with my first book. Or actually,
Yeah. Hopefully you liked you liked how you came out in the comic book.
I have not. I haven't. I sort of glanced at it. It's one
Yeah.
of those things
Yeah.
between.
Right. You have so many things going on and driving.
People are like, "What do you do when your wife's driving?" And I'm like, "I'm literally doing remote support." So I think I was doing remote support with a customer in Canada till like 1 a.m. last night because I can still have employees in other cities around the world, and I still have to go in and finish the job and make sure everything's working properly. So it's always fun day being a business owner when you think you can delegate everything out, and
Yep.
then you still have to do all the quality control and make sure people are happy. So at least people are flexible and they understand that Mike will come in and fix it. It's just I have to figure out who did what and reverse engineer all the messes and say we got to fix this properly and straighten things out. So how many you got more books coming out, Chemetsky?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. I have some trilogies. Like I write. So like when I get dark on social media, I write.
Okay.
I do a lot of stuff and one book actually the series now it's like a 6 or 7 book series. I started writing 20 years ago and then I went back to it, came back to it, and it's all these things. And I'm like, okay, I've been hiding. If I've been really honest with my business, I've been hiding a lot. And I talk myself. This part of my story is, it gets too tough. Okay, yeah, it gets too tough, but I still do all the writing. So what am I doing with this? Now I'm like, I want to originally when I started coaching, so people don't know me, I was doing mindset. I'm a huge mindset development coach, but people don't want mindset. They want to be on stages like I've been on. They want the books and things like that. That's how I could tell people's story, and that's how I've helped people in recovery to get through recovery. I've helped, veterans with PTSD. Though I don't treat PTSD, that's a diagnosis, and I'm not allowed to do that in New York State. Um, so it's all these things that I now want to just kind of shock and awe and get these out of my hard drive. Because every time I look at my hard drive of stuff that when I'm looking for something else, I find three other things that I created, and I'm like, they're all good for nothing if I don't get them out.
Okay. It's interesting. Well, I sort of knew you were a writer, but I didn't realize. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
This is why
Yeah.
I've been talking to a lot of authors recently, and I'm like, who's how are your book sales going? And
Yeah.
like, well, it's on Amazon. And I was like, well, I know it's on Amazon. How are you actually promoting that book that's on Amazon?
Yeah, and I guess depending on what people consider as an author, a chapter in a compilation book is nice, but that's not the type of
No,
author.
no shade, no
Yeah,
shade.
yeah, yeah.
All
No, no. I'm with you on that. I want everybody to have their message for their branding, and that's what I work on.
okay. So
Yeah,
all four of mine are compilations, and the comic book would also be compilations. So
yeah,
that's what. But it really doesn't matter because it's my words are in there, and um, I had messages when I joined those compilations, and there was a theme. None of that stuff is written with AI. That was my own words written, and I was like, wait a minute, I've got all these other. There's all these other co-authors in these books. So realistically, I could uh, get a lot of content to make from the books, right? Because each page could be a video, or each chapter could be like there's just so much content. And then most of these compilation books never even become audiobooks, right? And I'm like, you
yeah,
could realistically make your own audiobook or even just teasers or whatever from it and put those on YouTube. And as a drip campaign once a week or more twice a week or whatever, depending on how disciplined you are with actually getting sitting down and recording it, which I don't think it's really that challenging to get in front of a laptop and
no,
hit record and read your book unless you're scared of your voice.
yeah. And I have a recording. I have Roadcaster and things like that, and I also with my book I used Notebook LM to kind of create some audio of the book of other
Okay.
people speaking about my book.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay. That's
yeah,
interesting.
yeah. I
So
I
how
want
did you
to
get that? How did you get that idea?
just played around with it.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
just
Okay.
played around with it. And what's really great is it really works well in that you upload it, tell the story, and then the two people who are not you, it sounds like real human people, are talking about your book and the nuances in the book, and you're like, whoa. And then you can cut that up into lots of little audio pieces.
Okay. You have to give me some pointers on that because I didn't. I've heard we've had Sarah in this class live before, and I'm but there's been a few people speak about Notebook LLM. It's not something that I've probably opened it, but there's so many AI tools out there that I haven't actually spent any time with it, so I don't know what's possible with it. It's like um my it's like going to the YouTube head office on Monday, and they were like go reviewing all the possible steps in production cycle for a video going to YouTube and how they've developed tools for each of these steps and how each piece of software talks to another. And of course, it was just a 10,000 foot overview. And a lot of us were in awe saying, hey, well, we've used this piece and this piece, but there's literally like seven different technologies Google and YouTube have given us in our production cycle that unless you are a nerd and have played with all these tools, you wouldn't even recognize, we had like inspiration, pre-production, production, post-production, and publishing. And I don't believe, unless you are producing videos and you've been doing it for a while and you got experience, I don't think you would even recognize the terms in that process.
Yeah, I tried to know as much about that when I started my podcast, and that's what broke me on the podcast is trying to do it all. And then I trusted some people who didn't do it the way that they had promised, and that was a different show.
How many episodes did you get in your
Oh, I have
podcast?
140 out, and I
Okay.
want to go back out there. So I have videos for most of those. Uh,
Okay.
so that's why that was one of the conversations where I said I needed to talk to you and Julianne, just to like come up with a strategy. And we haven't made time, so I don't want to, not
No, no,
putting
no,
on
no,
you
no,
guys.
no. This is good.
But
This is what class is about. I'm
I
asking
have,
you questions, so
yeah,
I know.
I have so much content that I could just, again, shock and awe. I can have the million videos you need because I have that already in my, library that nobody has seen.
All right, but yeah, you can. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna set up time. I think next week I have a little more free time, so depending on your availability, to really
Oh,
come up with a personal strategy, and then see how you can support me, and I can support you and all that other stuff.
well, we have to discuss because we're coming to the White
Yeah,
Room May
yeah,
23rd, 24th anyway, and we gotta apply.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
We gotta plan that out because it's already April. No, I was one of the strategies is that anyone with content or with a backlog of content, we can literally fire that up. What we're using with Zoom today is Restream. That's what I teach everyone to use, where they can take a live conversation, like we're having a live conversation right now on Zoom, and we're using Restream to broadcast it to Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube. But you can also Restream pre-recorded videos, and they show up as live. So it's like
Mm.
the whole. There's other tools as well. So we're using Restream. I know some people use StreamYard. Probably 3 dozen tools. Good. YouTube's reviewed them all with us saying we support them all, and it's just kind of like information noise because into unless you've got an experience with broadcast software and being on set, you wouldn't even know what any of these tools are doing or what the power of them is. So, but as I lose my train of thought there, there's all these ways for, but we're really building with your own YouTube channel is really your broadcast station, your own TV show, right? And that's why it's great. It's great to hear that you've got a ton of content to work with because typically that's one place a lot of people struggle. And then doing it consistently. I was just talking to Roxy Boston yesterday. She just got a new MacBook, so we're just getting her set up to move from the iPhone reliance on the iPhone to moving to the laptop so we can get her she'll record once and then just post it to whatever app she's on her phone where I'm like, hey, you could take that same record you could take the same time and energy that you're spending recording it on your phone if we just do that on the computer and either record it or go live your 1 or 2 3 minute inspirational message will just go live to all platforms and it will be indexed on YouTube automatically uploaded to YouTube. It's perfect, it's there already, and then we're just saving a lot of time and frustration because it's going everywheres. But sometimes you need proper tools in order to do that, and then a production coach like myself to make sure that it's actually getting done on a weekly basis. So it's fun having conversations like this with David and just figuring out who's already got a lot of content out there and just needs a uh, production cycle and strategy to get it all out. And then once it's set up and going out, making sure the that's what we'll cover in the 8 week YouTube the visibility engine sprint is making sure your YouTube channel looks good on both phones, tablets, computer screens, as well as like the 80, 100 inch TVs people have in their man cave or their living room. And once we know it looks good and we've got content scheduled to go out every single week, then we're just going to make sure there's call to actions on your YouTube channel. Call
Hmm.
to action would be to subscribe, maybe a QR code to join your mailing lists, right? Because we're building an audience and we need to give our audience instructions because if not, they're not going to know how to support you. And then in your description of your channel, all the links to your books or your services or I it's fun. I see this all the time. I was sitting at a house in Dallas last week and, you know, reviewing somebody's YouTube channel. And it's like, hey, you've got books, you've got courses, you got all this stuff, and you actually have pretty, a lot of views on your channel. Obviously, there's not been any new content, but the videos that have views have like, a couple thousand views. So I'm like, that's better than not having that amount of views. But it's like there's no links to all the other stuff that you do. I know the link to your website's there, but if no, like most of us, we may be doing a couple different things in our business. Like we may like for me example, we've got the YouTube production support, and then my main gig is cybersecurity, helping you with your computer. Like Darlene, I've helped her with her computer. So I've got this my ascent, in market. Well, I have this ascension ladder, right? So I've got so many different products and services I offer to my clients through every single day that I want all those links on my YouTube channel because YouTube is really just another landing page. It's another website for you. And as you're building out your YouTube and you're consistent with this one video a week upload cycle, YouTube will send backlinks to Google search for each of those videos that you're making. So your YouTube channel will actually outrank your YouTube videos on Google. When somebody searches you, they're gonna find your website, hopefully your website on the first page. But if they don't even find your website on the first page, they're gonna find all your YouTube. If you get your YouTube videos labeled properly with your name, your business name, et cetera, all your YouTube videos are gonna rank on the first page of Google. So if you think about it, if you were looking for a particular service or researching somebody, let's say you met all of us all of us go to these networking events and if we're actively networking, we may be grabbing people's paper business cards or typing their contact details into the phone. I know the first thing I typically admit, everyone in this call may be different, but what I typically do will be I'm gonna go search them up just to see so exactly what they do because their pitch in person may not have fully encompassed what they actually do. So I'm gonna go look them up to see how they show up, what they've got listed on their website, and just see if they even show up at all. And it's you what we want with YouTube is we want there to be so much content about you that they they they're gonna choose if they need your services, they're gonna choose you or refer people because it's so easy to share YouTube video links. Um, we we want your YouTube to outrank your competitors when people, especially for local services, plumbers, carpenters, whatever. We want your your search results on Google to outrank your competition because I bet your competition's not doing YouTube. Your competition may be listed on Google My Business, may not be listed on Google My Business. Their website may rank on the first page. They may not because if they're a plumber, doctor, lawyer, et cetera, they're going to have a ton of local competition and they may not even rank. But if they've got YouTube videos, those videos are going to rank on the first
Can I
page of
bring up,
Google search. Go
sorry,
ahead.
can I bring up some changes that we didn't even talk about in our live because we didn't even know about them until I got an email after our webinar about changes that have happened that also help you and another return on investments, even if you don't hit those 1,000 subs. So some of the stuff that's actually happened is affiliates open at 500 subscribers now. So fan funding, super chats, YouTube shopping is used to require you had to have your 1,000 subs and get almost your 4,000 watch hours or whatever. I think they usually had to go hand in hand, but now it's they're saying that You can take products in shorts, long forms, and live streams at 500 subs. So that's another path to making revenue even when you're not monetized yet. So that's a huge one because it is really nice to have that ability to add your shop in there and be able to sell all your other products. The next one is YouTube rebuilt how brands find creators. So the creator partnerships, which is the new Brand Connect, uses Gemini. So that's their obviously their AI because they're Microsoft or not Microsoft, Google, because Google uses Gemini, right? To match brands with channels. So that means your metadata, your niche positioning, and your growth signals now directly affect whether brand money finds you or passes you by. So now you're going to be more niche. So when you start showing up, you're going to be more found to possibly get those partnerships, which I know a lot of people really want brand partnerships. We specifically avoid going into partnerships and brand affiliates because of situations we've had in the past where I don't ever want somebody to be unhappy with something they've been affiliated with or we've promoted them with and then have issues. So I don't really like selling third-party products, but it is another way you can make money off of YouTube if that's something you really believe in promoting something. And then 45% of shorts are not on TikTok. They are all on YouTube. So this is also the interesting thing is YouTube's data from new fronts is that nearly half the people watching shorts can't be reached on TikTok. So that you're reaching more people having your shorts on YouTube, which is why we're saying YouTube first and then going from there to all the different platforms. And so 65% were not on. So it was like most shorts don't reach people on TikTok. 65 are not percent it does not show up on Instagram Reels. And if you're creating short form, YouTube is a platform where audience actually lives. This is what we talked about. We've talked about there is more people watching it than Netflix and Disney combined. And I get because Krisha made a couple comments. I believe we're still going to be in the Southern Ontario area in May, but we're not quite sure at this point. Mike, any updates on that one, or are you not sure?
Oh, we're not driving from Alberta to New
No,
York anymore.
no, no, no. So
Well, no. The
it's
diesel
hard.
price is the diesel price is crazy. So, um, we're gonna come, but my celebrity hookup has not hooked us up with a venue. So we were um we're coming. It's just not gonna be first week of May
Yeah.
because I there's another restaurant. There was actually we had a couple plans on the go, and there's actually a bar down in Niagara Falls that we promised them that we would do an on-site YouTube stream with them because they're just they need more people. And I was like, hey, you know what? Well, rather than just me doing an on-site YouTube interview with them, we should bring all of our students, right? So, because I think we met with them in October, and then my celebrity friend who lives in Niagara, he's been in the Caribbean all winter, right? Yeah.
A meetup. That's what we're gonna
Right. So,
be.
so he's gone there. He verified with the because he's got a radio station in Niagara Falls. So we want to make sure we're able to promote it with enough lead time. And I was hoping he would be back, but he's not going to be back in Niagara in May. Lucky devil. So, well, he just tried. He's filming stuff, and he's actually on TV where I'm trying to put myself on TV.
You're making your own TV, right?
So
Um,
it's just one of these things when somebody's got so we'll be there. I just don't know the dates. It's probably gonna be a little bit later once he gets back. I really want to pull him in because he keeps telling me he doesn't need YouTube, and I'm like, you need YouTube because I see
Everyone
that
needs
you got.
YouTube. I'm just saying, there's more and more perks all the time. And I know, like, even when you were talking with some of the execs and stuff like that, that there isn't anybody promoting it the way we're really promoting to use it, right? So we're looking at a completely different return on investment than the majority. The majority are
I
looking for, they want their what is the thing? They're viral. That's what most people are going for. They want viral or to be an influencer. And you're going to become an influencer in your area when you start showing up. And whether you're influencing 1,000 people, 10,000 people, a million people, it doesn't actually matter because sometimes It's the quality of people is more important and being able to be seen for the people that need you, right? Lucretia also made a comment, and I think we've talked about this before, but I wanted to bring this up that going live or being on your camera, I totally get that. I get like the hesitation of showing up and presenting yourself on a regular basis to the world, right? Because obviously we're used to majority of people, especially women that show up online, go, you're like, I need to go to school and learn my makeup artistry to show up online so I can look perfect. But the reality is, I don't think people are looking for perfect people anymore. They want to know that you are human because everything is
Like definitely are
AI.
not.
And I think there's going to be a huge appreciation for people that, that you don't look perfect. You show up, though. It seems that's a bigger thing to keep showing up even when you don't feel like it. That says more than anything else. And it really does, because people will be able to tell who you are from you being able to show up and show who your personality is, which I think is going to definitely be where we will see the future go. But I do get it because it's taken me a long time to get regular on camera, to get used to my voice. Actually, I got used to my voice first because I was overdubbing things for a long time. That at this point, I actually don't mind listening to myself because I know that can be a lot of people don't want to hear your voice. Then you don't want to see yourself. And it's like we have to break down the barriers of our own discomfort with ourselves. So the more comfortable we're with ourselves, I feel like that's going to be more authentic to the people that you're reaching out to, because when you can be okay in your skin, other people will see it that way as well. So any perfection, I always think about it as artwork I've made. I'll show my daughter or my husband, like, oh, that's beautiful. And then in my own mind, I'm like, oh my God, there was this problem over here. They don't notice that mistake over there. No, they don't. They don't see, they're seeing the whole thing. They're not seeing the little imperfections, right? So I guess that's my little cheerleading that we're all working through personally being okay with ourselves. And that is part of this evolving as well, is being okay with seeing yourself on camera, being okay with hearing your voice, and I don't know, accepting yourself at a different level that you just look like you. And then the more you appreciate yourself, I'm not going to lie, this might sound like I've got a big ego, but I've determined I like listening to my own videos more than I like listening to other people's videos now. So people I used to follow, I'm like, oh, they're so boring. I like listening to myself. I think I'm funnier. So there you go. That's how much it's changed.
But that you get that is you getting to a certain point in your creator journey where you're like, okay, I've got it figured out. You're not, because we honestly, when we drive, we're listening to, there's a handful of YouTube channels we're listening to. And, if you can swap out other people's content and yours in real time and enjoy listening to yourself, or you've got to that point where um, I think you're at the perfect point at that situation because, um, you've figured out your pacing when you're talking on camera, and like you should be able to go
I
between
will always talk too fast. I will
well,
forever
but that's
say
okay. I'm
you
just
talk
saying is
too
that, like
fast.
if you can't watch and listen to your own videos, you got to put yourself in your audience's position, right? Because how o- how often do this question to my wife, how often do people message, our friends will be like, "Hey, I'm listening to your stuff right now." That's what you want. But that may not be an overnight thing where your audience is giving you feedback and people are listening to you. Well, they wouldn't be listening to you unless they agreed with you or they liked what you were talking about,
Yeah. And my
right?
my stuff is like I know people need to see it because my whole thing is like my CP, but I find when I watch it back, I think that I look, and it's so bad to say, but in my mind, this is how I think of it, is like I look more crippled than I actually feel in real life. So then I start nitpicking things and I'm like, oh, I should do more therapy. And then it just becomes like this more like more to add to my list, even though like the stuff is out there and it's fine. But like if I watch it back too much, then I'm just like nitpicking and I add more things to do in my day because I want to like fix something when maybe some of it can be fixed, probably some of it cannot be, but that's just how I get in my head about it. But like I know people want to see it. That's the whole basis of my content is how like I live with it. So it's not like it can't be out there. It's just then I pick at myself.
It's a mental process. It is. You know what, you bring up a lot of like, I know that that's probably the number one fear of probably most creators is you had to get motivated enough to get over looking at your own videos, listening to yourself, or however you perceive yourself, right? So it's always the whole thing is that you perceive yourself as, oh my gosh, when I look at myself, I feel like I'm looking more handicapped. I don't feel that handicapped, right? So you're
Yeah.
seeing the disconnect. Well, of course you don't. You live just fine. You know how to live your life, right? But on the outside, you want to portray that, and the more people get to know you, the more they'll see you as who you are, and will realize that that's just the side of, like that's just part of who you are, right? And it is a very, I think it's a very healing journey actually making videos on a regular basis to have to, well, in fairness, like we didn't really have another option after losing all of our business, essentially, like literally going from having business to not, and then being mobile. I had to be comfortable. I had to get myself comfortable with showing up, even if I didn't look like a 10 out of 10 or have my makeup perfect or the lighting perfect. Be okay with me looking like crap to being okay with, oh, I don't even look like crap today. Oh, I win today, right? And going through that journey, because in the end, it is how we feel is what comes off. And that's what they're going to pick up. Because we're intuitive creatures, right? So even whatever we put and whatever we perceive isn't going to be how they're going to perceive us, right? And all I can say is that if you can find a way to use it like a healing journey, that every time you put yourself out there, even when it makes you cringe or you see some imperfection, think of it as like practice to getting okay with showing who you truly are and also seeing who you are, because that's also the big reflection. Not related, but kind of related. I was learning about reincarnation and different ways that there's the idea that you go through karma, and then, in next life you go through karma to balance out whatever you did in this life. Then there's this other idea of like graciousness, where if you think of karma as like going to school to learn something, graciousness is, oh, you've learned that, so somehow you've learned the same thing, so you don't have to go through that karmic lesson, right? So we can think of it in that lesson that we're in a school, so we're evolving. And do you want to learn the lesson of being able to see yourself? This is a good mirror right back, is seeing yourself, listening to yourself, and looking at it as an evolution, that you can get more and more comfortable with how truly human you are, right? That can be the biggest hurdle. I do believe people are going to be wanting to resonate with people that look and act like a normal human, because we are bamboozled so much and it's just getting worse, really, right? So I wish there was an easy way through it, because I would love to be like, you know what? This is just turn off that part of your brain. Just stop judging yourself. For myself, the only thing I can say is it was consistent showing up, being forced, that I didn't really have another option besides being forced to show up. And then also starting to realize, oh, maybe I do sound better. Starting to like see the good things I liked about myself. And the more I started noticing things I liked, the more it was easier to get over and past my own insecurities, right?
Mhm.
We all have those. So, it's normal. I wish it was easy. I wish it was.
It's fine. I can do hard things. I
Exactly, exactly. And a hard thing can be showing up without makeup, showing up like, oh my God, I got my wrinkles, I'm getting older,
have
showing.
heatless curls in right now.
uh, You know what the best thing is? Go to Dubai, put it in your hair, and just start walking around. And then you have so many other women, they're like, I wish I could do that. My husband makes fun of me in my house wearing that. And you're like, you know what? Just go out. It's okay. Just go do the hard thing that makes you uncomfortable. That is one thing I will say my husband has forced us over this last like 2, 3 years. We don't have comfort. I'm like, not that like our life's uncomfortable, but we do not have necessary and easy life. Like easy would be going home, being able to watch and chill in a TV and have your like little base, right? Your little cocoon. We carry ours around. We're constantly in situations that are uncomfortable. We constantly have things that will throw our days, that whatever our plan is doesn't go through the way we planned it, right? So we've been embracing that, and that probably has helped as well. So if there's anything else, it's like put yourself in uncomfortable situations will make you more comfortable in all the uncomfortable situations. And I that's the only thing I can suggest. Anything else that you would suggest, Mike?
Um, in order to, um, I know we may be reviewing our videos and saying, well, I could have done this, I could have done this differently. You're gonna have the same situation if you're ever asked to speak in front of a group of people. Because I've already been a speaker on stages in front of people. So doesn't matter if that stage was Canada, USA, or Dubai. I've already been on stage and I've had some great stage experiences and I've had some bad stage experiences because people will come up to you and either say, "Oh, I really appreciated what you talked about," or they'll come up to you and berate you. So it doesn't matter. Like we got to be comfortable in our own skin and our own messaging on both YouTube and in person. Because what's going to happen is I've been approached to do an Ivy League tour in the US, and that was based on somebody discovering my YouTube channel. So when like we've had this, I'm not in the financial situation where I can pay them to be my agent. So I'm like, hey, let's make sure we get people signed up for this. For our YouTube courses and our in-person stuff, so I can raise the money to 'cause literally YouTube or university students have said, "Hey, we want this person to come and speak to us about being a business owner and being a content creator and what type of mindsets." So that's all come from me being confident on my it, videos on my YouTube channel, but I didn't get there overnight because any of the stuff that's structured on my YouTube channel, like the cybersecurity videos, those were all like, you know, record it, record it, record it, record it, record it, erase it. Like, it took me probably 7, 8 days to do one 30-minute video because I was trained to make sure it was perfect. And
And you
if
gotta
I
think Mike's experience was consistently recording, recording, and recording, and then trying to get it as perfect as he could for his perspective.
Well,
Then I got
just so it could be pitched to like a Hollywood
Yeah.
studio,
And then on
right?
the reverse, my experience was just showing up every day. So I started with doing oracle cards pulls, starting to do things that I could end up showing up all the time. And then the more I heard my voice and the more I started putting myself on camera. And so we kind of came from it in different directions. And it was interesting because it depends, like that's what we're going to help you through is what is the best way for you to go through, right? Like, are you somebody that's going to be recording, recording, recording and editing it down? And that's going to be super important for your content. Or is it going to be that you want to be more natural and get more comfortable with it? So that's what we're going to also help people with. I believe we had Arlene had a question as well that had her hands up, but she did put her hand down. So I don't know if you have anything you wanted to mention, Arlene.
I don't know how to do that. How do you get on there? Oh, how do you do that?
We can hear you.
Okay. I was just going to suggest that you practice in front of a mirror and then
It
you
is
get used to seeing
exactly.
the way you look, sound.
The mirror is great because that is like I think everybody all I can think of is because I have a teen daughter. She's not all boy crazy, but all I can think of is the teen years and like girls trying to practice kissing against a mirror. How do you get comfortable with how that looks, right? So there you go. You can definitely like the mirror, the camera is a good mirror because you can always do the testing videos, right? Because then you can see because it is a little bit well, the mirror it is reflecting back, and depending on the camera angle you put, you can have it reflect back or mirror back. And there's always one look that confuses you because your mirror, it's not the mirror look, right? And then everyone's
Mhm.
like, don't show me that look because it confuses us because we don't see ourselves that way, right?
Right.
So that is definitely a great way to do it, is any way you can get used to seeing yourself and being okay with it. And then in fairness, I have to make this note. Yesterday, I realized I hadn't even looked in the mirror. I left our place. We did a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm in the truck and I'm driving, and I'm like, I don't even know how I look. I didn't even spend any time in front of the mirror. So I've realized my life has definitely jumped from when I worked in corporate and I spent many hours in front of the mirror, getting ready, going to my corporate job, to now where I didn't even look in the mirror in the morning. And I was like, you know what? I don't even have time for this. So it's an interesting progress going through it. And there was something else. So I know, did you have anything else, Arlene, on that? But I do
Yeah,
like,
I wanted to ask, back you up on that 500. I take it that that's 500 people to click on your actual YouTube.
that would be subscribers. So before with being able to do the shopping affiliates and to start getting to be like to be recommended as a brand ambassador and stuff through YouTube, you had to have your 1,000 subs and you had to have your
You had to,
4,000 and to have your 4,000 watch hours.
you had
So
So
to
how
have
do
your
you so how do you actually get to your 1,000 in or your 500 to get onto YouTube? Do you go through the other sites like TikTok and all of that, or?
Well, mine started and how I did it was through showing up all the time. My growth was showing up. I was growing naturally. I easily made it past the 500. I've
So
been
you were actually on YouTube
Yes,
then?
yes. And I
Okay.
started on YouTube. In fairness, it was because I actually went off of Facebook for over 2 years. So I just wouldn't even log in. And then my husband's like, you have all this content. It needs to show up on YouTube. So he started going in the back end. And that's part of what we're going to teach you is how to repurpose, how to get your content to other platforms. Because I don't really go on TikTok. I don't go on Instagram. I Facebook
you're
still drives me crazy, but I need it to show up, right? So we do it on one end, and I was getting really good and consistent, and I was getting growth with my YouTube. So we needed it to show up everywhere else. And that was really what did that. And over time, like statistically, if you show up, you will easily get 500 subs. It's when you stop showing up, that's when you lose the momentum. So that's what we really want to help people get. And that's what that 8 weeks is about, is helping you get 30 pieces. So you've got at least one piece for 30 weeks, if not more. We want you to get more and more regular, but we want it to fit into your schedule. So once you've got those 30 pieces, you've got a plan. It's going to work for you. It's going to work with just how you want to make content so that you can continue making it, because if you got 30 weeks and you're doing one a week, you're ahead. You've got a good start set up so you can continue with the process once you're out of the 8 weeks, right?
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
Anything for that, Mike? Anything to add on that?
are we thinking that the 500 subs is to get them to turn on the fourth wall shop, or?
I believe so. That's what it really sounds like. I'm gonna have to do a little bit more investigation because we know they were playing around with the fourth wall shop. We know that that was the big thing that had like kind of it was there, but it wasn't there. So I'll have to do
Okay.
a little bit more
Okay. Okay.
in depth on that. But it's saying 500 subs, and then you can take products in your shorts, long forms, live streams. Clearly, I'm thinking YouTube is benefiting from fourth wall
Okay.
because
Well,
it's an easy way.
it's not the only option.
No, I know it's not the only option. It's just an option that's built into YouTube, which is a good feature because when I make shorts, this feature hasn't been working recently, but you can link your products on fourth wall into your shorts. So you can actually have it like I'm talking about my monthly PDFs. I can make my little short and then I can link that my my thing. So there's a little like an image of my short here, like that April clarifying your direction. That image pops up. And then if a user's watching, they can just click on it and it would take them right into that and into the digital download. So it would take it right into the April and then they could just go and purchase it at that point. So it's
Yeah.
and if you make digital documents, this is a benefit to you selling them because you can put them up, but you can also, as Mike's got up here, I went through, they've got a bunch of products you can brand, right? So you can go and put your branding on. I played around with a lot of the images I had. I made this blanket. I thought it was super cool. I have to start going and buying my stuff because there's a lot of them that I liked creating. Like I really like that notebook too. So, anyways, so I believe this is what it's really talking about, or you're going to get some access to fourth wall because there's no cost to you. They just take a small percentage if you sell it, right? So if you put your digital download up there, it just automatically goes, whatever your pricing is, it'll tell you what you get paid out. And so it's just a nice little option for other ways to make money. And then, of course, being able to be a brand partnership without having to um yeah, so they're making that, so it means with your data or whatever. Let me reread this. Creator partnerships will use the new brand connect using Gemini to match your channel. So Gemini, this is also why you want to be seen, because you want the AIs to start to recognize your branding too, right? And the only way AI is going to, the AI cannot find you behind a gated community. I'm just going to tell you that. If you ever search stuff on AI, and it may make you go and log into a website to get it because it can't actually get it because it's not public out there, where YouTube content can be seen by everything, whereas anything on Facebook is behind it a gated community that AI can't actually see, which is a good point.
No, I just want to bring up the store thing. So typically there's all these perks once you're a monetized YouTuber, 1,000 subs, 4,000 watch hours, but it's a really, really hard, not hard, challenging um thing to hit because there's not a very large group of YouTubers who have 1,000 subs and 4,000 watch hours. So when we achieve that, um, YouTube's like, hey, you can connect your Shopify store to your YouTube channel, or we give you your own store called Fourth Wall. So we've gone and created these stores in Fourth Wall that have all of our branded items. But now it sounds like YouTube is lowering the bar and saying, hey, we've had such success with these shops. You no longer need to be an official monetized YouTuber to get them. You can start with only 500 subs.
Yes, yes. So shopping affiliate opens for 500, and I assume that that's the fourth wall.
So
I
we'll clarify that for you. It's just this the fi during our 8 week YouTube visibility engine installation that we're starting on April 6th on Monday, this 2 month intensive that we're running on Zoom. We're going to review all the different ways you can actually monetize your YouTube channel before you get to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours, and how you can do it afterwards. Because I've been working in this YouTube world for Julianne and I have been monetized. We've had over 1,000 subs and 4,000 watch hours since 2024. It's 2026, so we've got 2 years of experience at that point, and I've just been, since I'm such an analytical nerd and I know how the internet works and how interesting things are can be on the back end, because this is what I do. Um, I came up with this whole way to, realize the power of YouTube, because Julie had mentioned walled garden, where Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, all those social medias need username and password to access that data. But YouTube, it's open for everybody. So there's so many powerful ways to draw um, money out of having a consistent YouTube channel, and as you build and because as you build and subscribe as you build and add subscribers, because I typically find with YouTube, people are only going to subscribe to you if they know, like, and trust you. It's much different than Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, where everybody's just trying to befriend people just to DM them and cold pitch them and sell them. Like, YouTube's not that way. YouTube is literally a university of your brand content, right? So if you have videos there, hey, they never disappear. They never get deleted unless you delete them yourself. Like, no video has priority. You're literally designing your YouTube for your ideal client journey. So um play like you can literally customize your YouTube channel and specifically design a client journey if you want to do that through playlists. But your YouTube audience is going to be so much more in engaged with you than an audience like than your audience is on the other platforms. So there's so many different ways to, as I said, I was when we opened up this call and I was talking to David Chemetsky, I was just like, there's so many I talk to so many people, who are authors. And I'm an author because I've got 4 books. I got number 5 out with this comic book. Many people don't even have their links to their books on their YouTube channel, right? So it's like there's so many different there's so many different ways to organically drive business through your YouTube channel. And now with having this ability to have a customized store at 500 subscribers, like
Yeah,
I got the
you could probably sell it on here too. So if you have it on Amazon, you could probably easily put it up on Fourth Wall because they want you to put your different products
well,
on
yeah,
there.
well, even if you had, I've got, even if you had your before you go to even publish, you know what? Before
The digital, you
I was
have
gonna
the
just say
digital book.
that. I was just gonna say that if you've sent your book off to a publisher, you'd have a digital copy.
Exactly. So you're gonna have to do that and put it on your Fourth Walls, your comic book. Put it
So there's a ton of different ways to build your audience through YouTube, and this is what we're teaching in our 8-week course.
Exactly. There's more than one return on investment. And I will say, because I think I said this last week, where I was watching, it was like a little questionnaire on, oh no, maybe I don't even know if I mentioned it last week, but there was somebody who was asking, when do you consider somebody successful on YouTube? And the minimum was like 10,000 subscribers. And then it was like 100,000. Then it was like 1 million. And I'm like, okay, if you're only rating it on the fact that you have to have 100,000 to be successful, you may never get 100,000. I hope you do, but that may never
Well,
happen. But let's say you get 10,000 subs. And of that 10,000 subs, you really have 1,000 people that watch your content, are people that will buy your different products. You've got a better return on investment because they're not only watching your content, which helps you, they're going to see you, they're building that know, like, and trust. Those are going to be much more impactful than having 1 million people and only, I know Kirsten mentioned this the other week, where there's only 200 views, but they have 1 million people subscribed, right? Those people are not invested in that. It's not bad, but at the same time, you're like, well, do these people, are they really interested in your content? And now there is things like shadow banning and stuff like that, that for sure can happen. But we really want to be focused not necessarily only on subs and watch time. We want both of those to increase, but we want to also look at the bigger picture of how many perks you get from showing up on a regular basis and why this matters to your business. And before I have Darlene ask her question, do you have anything to add to that, Mike?
no,
Okay. So go
I'm
ahead,
good.
Darlene.
Okay, my question is, in this class, you're going to teach us how to do videos every week. You're going to help us with our niche and maybe help us with a shop.
We're going to make sure that your YouTube channel is there. It looks pretty on all sides of devices, and build out your production checklist so we know what type of content you're adding and how to um, make multiple pieces of content. So if you're doing a long or a live, Julie's going to show you how to edit it into shorts using the built-in tools at YouTube versus having to use Descript or CapCut or whatever. So yeah, no, we at the end of the 8 weeks, at the end of the 2 months, you're gonna have 30 pieces of content created, uploaded, scheduled, ready for that drip campaign, which 30 videos would be more than half a year if you're doing, one per week.
Yeah. No,
So
our focus is to keep you accountable. So if you are running into like, okay, I don't really know, this is what I like, but I need some ideas on like how do I build this content or how do I get my scripts or whatever, we're going to help you do brainstorming if you need that. If you already know what you're going to do, we're going to meet everybody where they're at because we know everybody's on a different level and have some people have more content, some people don't have as much content. Maybe somebody's got the built back end that looks good, but they need the motivation. So we're going to work with each person. So the classes are going to be the Monday. They'll be Monday at 1. And so we're going to do that in the afternoon and we will live stream them to the Facebook, which will be the private group. So it'll be immediately be posted there. So if you do miss them, they'll be up there immediately. And then Thursdays will be another private session, Thursday evenings. And this will be pretty much where you can come in and ask us specifically questions on your progress. It'll be touching base. you'll probably just want to jump in even just to see what other people are talking about, to see if you're running into the same kind of issue. So Thursdays is kind of more of an open office. And if we do need to cover some more of that content from Monday, we'll go over that again and work with everybody. So you're going to get the 2 private session, or semi-private, because it's going to be you and the small group that we're working with. And then we'll still have this Saturday class where you can jump in every Saturday and just ask us. This will always be available whether you join us for the 8 weeks or not. Does that clarify that, Darlene? Oh, you're still muted, sorry.
Yes.
All right. Well, it's 10, so we have to leave because we still have to get across the border today.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, before you leave, I need
Yeah.
an address.
Oh, yes, I'll text you because we're just gonna send it to New Jersey. But then,
Okay.
yes, I'll send you. I'll text you.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you
Bye.
everyone for showing up. If you have any questions about the 8-week course, you can go to IamYouTubeFamous.com. The sign up link is there for the 8-week installation of the YouTube visibility engine in your business. The link's there at IamYouTubeFamous.com.
We also have the webinar, which I think you emailed out with the link for today.
Yes, I did.
So it's in there. So if you want to watch the webinar, I think it went, you can tell I'm not AI because I did mess it up by coughing once in the video.
But if you got any further questions, you can DM me on Facebook. If you got my cell phone number, you can DM me about it. Literally at the end of, we want to make sure at the end of the 2 months, end of the 8 weeks, that you have that your like production checklist. So what devices you're using, if you're using video editing software, like it's just a matter of having a plan of attack. So all we're asking for is 1 video per week. You can do more than that, but I want to make sure you're consistent and you don't fall off 6, 9, 12 months in the future. So I believe that regardless if you're doing, regardless if you're recording once a week or you're recording once a month and you're batching out your videos, like we just have to figure out that production cycle that works best for you and your life, because it's, people are married, they got kids, they got grandkids, they have 6 jobs. I understand, but if we don't start now, you're going to be 6 months later, you're still going to be in the same position. And it's super, it can be super, like, there's some of us who already have a ton of content ready to go, but nobody to handhold us to make sure that it gets released. And that's what we're here for, is to help you get your stuff out and build it the way that works for you and your schedule. So anyway,
To
we'll
be
see.
seen, so your business stays around. That's it. So you can be seen, so people know what you offer to help people out, right? So on that, I guess we're gonna sign off. Thank you, everybody, and we will see you guys next week.
Thank you.
Bye.